Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Welcome to another Hail Mary happy hour. It's week 3. We're about to wrap up. The games aren't quite done, but well, the Bills are going to win.
The
And I
Bills
think the
already
Commanders
won.
will
The
too.
Bills already won. That game is over.
That game's over. I bet on it. Anyway, but another fantasy week down, and it was something. So let's get into it. Tyler, drinking
Yeah.
tonight.
Tonight we are drinking the Whalers Rise APA, and if we get around to it, I also got the Whalers Version 13 IPA chilling over here. Josh, what you rocking with?
We've got a long drink, a Finnish delicacy, introduced to me by you.
The official
Yeah,
drink of Tuukka Rask.
the official drink of Tuukka Rask. Usually I prefer the cranberry, but
The cranberry is
late
real good.
the cranberry is definitely my favorite. I had them, but I left them at Jordan's apartment. Before me and him actually went and saw The Room recently. You know the movie The Room, worst like touted
Yeah.
as like the worst movie. So they
Yes.
were showing it at Coolidge Corner, the theater,
Yeah.
and the guy that played Mark was there, like talking about the movie. And let me tell you that it was a midnight showing, and what a fucking sort of vibe that was. There's a photo of a spoon that shows up on the screen, and everyone in the theater had plastic spoons, like a dozen plastic spoons at the ready for every time that was on the screen. They just hucked spoons.
Of all the cult
Yeah,
followings that exist out there, the cult following for The Room must be one of the truly least
dude.
understandable and strangest.
Dude, have you seen it?
The Room?
Yeah.
Yes. I saw
Have you
The
seen it
Room,
in
and then I saw the movie that was about The Room.
The Disaster Artist? I do like The
Yes.
Disaster Artist. Uh,
Honestly, I think I like The Room more.
dude, I might agree, but there's no other way to watch The Room than in this theater. Like you haven't seen The Room until you've watched it with like 100 people that are delirious enough to love this movie.
Well, I didn't have
Beautiful thing.
any intention of watching this movie again, but maybe I'll get around to it. But
If you're if you're ever in the area when they happen to be showing it, apparently it's a monthly thing. Yeah, come on by. But aside from that, managers, you may notice Tyler, another new background.
yeah, we were just talking. Have we done a single podcast where I'm in the same location? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But I don't think so. But we'll keep that streak
I don't
going
think
for another
so.
week or two, and then hopefully we'll be settled down. But you know, today we're in New Jersey, looking for apartments. So it's a good time. It's a vibe over here.
Fun,
And
fun.
stick around on the podcast because we got a special guest interview coming in later today. So you got to listen for the whole thing. Also, nobody commented Josh's. Oh, wait, no, two people commented
Yeah,
Josh's thing
two
last
people
week.
did.
To be
Two
honest,
people
I
did.
just said nobody because I completely forgot what your question was, but then I
Yeah.
remembered. Fake
Yeah,
fans.
shout out to Andrew and Jordan for listening to the podcast.
Real fans.
And I'm going to keep this going. There's going
What's
to
your.
be another thing this week to
Yep.
see which of you are the real ones.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. Uh, I
Anyway,
suppose let's get into
couple
it.
other fun facts about some managers this week. Manager Matt Simmons bought a house this week. That's pretty cool. Congratulations. You're the
Yep.
first person I know who's done that. And then you, Josh, over here, ran 8.6 miles, working up to that 13 for the half marathon. How's your body
I'm working
feeling?
there.
You feeling
I
strong?
I feel older than I've ever felt before.
Oh,
I
that's not good.
My legs are in pain. I fell on my shoulder playing volleyball. I got a crick in my neck lifting, and moving hurts.
Age
Uh,
is suffering.
but it's fine. I also bought Swedish fish to fuel myself during runs because I'm cheap and gummies are like running gummies are expensive. But that means I have this bag of Swedish fish next to me, and
Love that.
I've eat, I've eaten a lot in the last 10 minutes that we've been here. So
Hey, You
That's
know,
rough.
take the good with the bad. Love that. But
I have some tortillas I made today in the microwave that did not go well, I will add. But maybe I'll grab those to eat instead.
all right.
Um,
Well, that's enough not football related content for the
yeah,
podcast.
back to
Uh,
the fucking football.
Josh, you want to kick off our news and notes here?
I would love to. Shit's fucked in the world of the NFL.
As it is.
Everything is upside down and topsy-turvy. Andy Dalton is out here being the first quarterback of the year to throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's basically the best quarterback in the league. Would you disagree?
No, not at all. I think Andy Dalton is clearly the most superior quarterback right now. I mean, if you can take the Panthers and lead them to a win like that, I don't know anyone else who could do that.
There you have it. I mean, we did mention last week that Andy Dalton may be able to raise people on this team into fantasy relevance, and Deontay Johnson sitting on a bench, just like so many other bench players that put up 20 points or more, really went off. And that's
Yeah,
kind of a theme for this week.
yeah. And on the flip side of that, Bryce Young, it's over, buddy. They're already talking trade rumors. He's done. He's
No.
done so.
Apparently, the Panthers are rejecting trade offers, which I'm sure everyone's lowballing, but I mean, maybe take it.
Yeah,
It's just,
maybe they're just gonna try to develop him a little bit more. You know, I
yeah.
mean, it's your
I
first
actually
round
heard,
pick.
I heard he may still play this year. Like they want him to play again this year, which I don't think will actually happen, but
Not if Andy Dalton keeps playing like this, it won't.
they shouldn't at least. Meanwhile, speaking of these backup quarterbacks, Malik Willis is out here 2-0, just faced his old team, the Titans. I would call it a revenge game, but he actually was very amicable. People asked him if he was like ready to get revenge, and he talked about how like, nah, they gave me a shot. I'm really happy for the opportunity they gave me. Like no hard feelings. So,
Oh, great.
uh, yeah, great guy. Went and trounced him.
And they
Awesome.
won.
Yeah, Jordan Love 0-1. Malik Willis 2-0. Yeah,
Let's go.
just saying. We don't have a lot of injuries to talk about this week, which is nice. Aside from, we have the benching of Bryce Young, but and some continuations of injuries. Debo's still out. We still have Zach Charbonnet filling in for
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker. Thank you. Uh, but nothing really new. And finally, something I just want to point out. Some of you may know I have been a Browns supporter for the past about decade, and I'm having a tough time these days with Deshaun Watson. You may know that if he gets suspended this year, he will the Browns can get rid of his guaranteed money of his contract, which currently is a 5-year, $265 million deal, all guaranteed. No matter what they do, he gets all the money, unless he gets suspended. So, if anyone has it in their heart to go frame Deshaun Watson for something,
I don't think we have to frame him for
go for it.
anything. I think he's already
He's already
done a
got
crime.
something going
He's
on.
already done a crime.
Yeah, he's already got it going on. So, but like, just to be safe, get him out of there. Because
I
currently the
think
Browns
it's
offense. Oh, my final fact: the Browns offense is the worst it's been since 2000. Quarterbacks such as Brandon Weeden, Brian Hoyer, the McCowns
Tim
have done
Couch.
better. And that's the end of my rant. So,
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson will be out of an NFL job in about give it 4 to 6 weeks. Whether it's because he gets benched and cut or because he gets arrested,
I mean, one can dream,
we'll see.
but we will see. But on that note, I suppose it is time to go into my lovely weekly segment of Josh's, oh, look who shit his fucking pants, fucking asshole, fuck guy of the week. This one goes to Tyler's lovely team, with his lovely first-round pick, the highest-paid wide receiver in the league, after holding out, getting his contract, the wonderful CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb, surely, highest-paid wide receiver in the league. Dak Prescott, highest-paid quarterback in the league. That's got to work, right? Tyler, that's working, right? Right?
I feel like the only person who's suffering more than me right now is Gabe. I don't know what the Cowboys are doing right now, dude. They're supposed to be like one of the best teams in the league. What are they doing? I mean, don't get me wrong. The Ravens are good. The Ravens are good. But, oh my God. Like, I know that the end score looks close, but don't forget that they scored 2 of those touchdowns, like, in the fourth quarter when it was basically already done. Like,
yeah.
That game was not actually close whatsoever.
Yeah, and if we're looking at CeeDee's stat line, he has 4 receptions on the 7 targets, 67 yards, lost a fumble. Like, you can't go losing
just when
fumble.
it couldn't get any worse, it got worse.
Like, yeah, it's a rough look on the Cowboys for sure, and their defense has also been
in a week
gone.
where I needed a performance from my team captain, my number 1 pick. He did not show up for the boys this week. We them boys? I don't think so.
No. On the flip side, we have the Mr. Big Man, the boss man, the big old guy of the week, who came through big just minutes ago for the SCLSU Mud Dogs, as Jaden Daniels went and put up 38 points, including 100 yards of receiving to Terry McLaurin with a touchdown. It was down. The SCLSU Mud Dogs were down to, I believe, less than 15% chance.
Yeah, they were
tonight.
Not supposed to win this game.
It was not going to happen. But those Commanders brought it the fuck back. It seems that Jaden Daniels has had his breakout right here. And Terry McLaurin might actually be something this year, even though Jaden's going to be passing to him. Because, again, 100 yards receiving for Terry McLaurin along with the touchdown. And Jaden Daniels with 21 for 23 completions, 250-plus yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 12 carries, 39 rushing yards, a touchdown on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking... And across the way, you see Jalen Hurts, who didn't even get half of his points. In the same division. So... Yikes. I don't know. It's a good night. I hope that Jordan's enjoying himself seeing that. And sorry, Steve.
Good night for Jordan. Got the win in fantasy. Bills got the win.
Yeah. That's a good night right there.
Envious. I feel envious of this man.
I got to see him watch the Bills win, thankfully. And that brings us to my lovely interview with him at the Bills game, which we'll cut to now. All right. So, hey guys, welcome to our first guest appearance on the podcast. We have one of the league managers of the SCLSU Mud Dogs, Jordan. So, hi, welcome for joining me. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Long-time fan, first-time listener. I'm second year in the league as LSU Mud Dogs. Great to be here.
Great having you. So, just for the managers out there that may have not gotten a chance to know you, haven't known you before, so what's your connection to this league? Why are you here?
You know, it's been my lifelong dream to be part of this league. Ever since I was a young lad, I knew I wanted to be part of a keepers league, and I couldn't be happier to be here. Being brought in by Tyler and you and Sam and everyone else. It's been really great being here. Second season. Last year got second place, so close to the gold. Coming back with a big vengeance.
You're getting close. Anyone? Who are your keepers this year? Are they doing well for you?
Some are doing great, some are not doing as hot. James Connors has put up some big numbers this year, and I'm pretty happy about it. Michael Pittman, bit of a disaster. Do I blame him? Do I blame Anthony Richardson? That's up for the people. That's up for the people.
That's up for the people. Well, that's lovely. You may notice we are currently out at Bleacher Bar out in Fenway. We are watching the Bills Monday night game. It's halftime. They're destroying the Jaguars. Jordan here is our resident Bills fan. I can hear the boos. It's fine. How do you feel representing the Bills team in this highly New England?
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing. You know, Drake May can eat my ass. You know, Patriots are quite terrible this year, so it's looking great for our end. Aaron Rodgers is an old fart, not looking good either. You know, I'm not too worried about them. Dolphins are gone at this point, and
Yeah, you made sure of that.
we made sure of that. We took them out. Just wait till see what happens with the Patriots.
There's a reason we're not playing May.
Exactly.
They took out Rodgers last year.
They're too worried. We took out Rodgers this year. Last year, we took out two this year. Drake Mays next year. I'll say it. And then the one Cowboy fan in the league. See you guys argue on the sidelines. CD looks pretty pissed off for being the highest paid wide receiver right now.
Yeah, not looking great. They got a lot of money in Dak and CD, and it's
Yeah. You know what? At least Jerry Jones knows all the penis sizes of the Cowboys.
that's what really matters.
That's the biggest part.
That's where it all comes together.
Yes.
But we're not here to discuss real football. We're here for the fantasy football. So tell me about your real team.
Listen, the team's looking pretty great right now. Jaden Daniels currently playing as well 2 Monday night games. A little weird.
Fine.
But Jaden Daniels looking real good. Throwing to Scary Terry, not so much. We might have to reconsider. Bijan looking really great. Justin Jefferson and that Sam Darnold connect this week. Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Oh, you have that stack going?
I got that sack.
That's honestly shockingly great stack.
Good. Sam Darnold 30 points. Justin Jefferson about 20 points this week.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Am I going to lose to Steve? Probably. I have a 15% chance of winning right now, but the Bills are absolutely destroying, which is making me forget about my sorrows right now.
Well, you know what? That's good. And Steve, he's coming strong.
It really is.
And you got to be happy for him a little bit.
Listen, I put him in the highlights. I knew it was going to be a good rivalry this year. A little slow start for him, going 1-1. It's not terrible. That's most football. I'm 2-0. I needed someone to take me out just to get that rivalry going.
You know what? I get that. Like, no one's taking me out, but someone really has to at some point.
I play you in 2 weeks, so we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe I'll have Tyreek off the bench by then.
Maybe.
We'll see. But, that's going to do it for now. I only have so much space on the phone. Jordan has only so much time before the Bills go back to kicking some ass. But this has been our first visit into the podcast.
Hey,
it was great.
Thanks for having me. Really great to be here.
Truly a pleasure. All right. Back to Tyler.
What a riveting interview. Truly, wow. Just watching two of the greatest football minds of our league, our two 3-0 managers, discuss the beautiful game itself. It was truly a great opportunity. Thank you to Jordan for being a part of the podcast. Look forward to having more guests on in the future. But yeah, great year to be a Bills fan right now. Coming off a huge 47-10 win. Josh, we talk about it every year, or I should say it's talked about every year. Is this the year the Bills are contenders? Are the Bills going to make it to the Super Bowl this year?
I would love to say yes. I really would. And honestly, watching that game, they're going to win the division after everything that's going on, and they'll injure anyone that is going to get in their way. But it's going to come back down to, I think, the Bills and the Chiefs again, the way that things are going. The Bills are looking good. Like, Josh Allen is playing out of his booking mind right now. And the weapons of Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, James Cook, Keon Coleman, I think they are going to outmatch the Chiefs in that. the defense is going to matter more, but if the Chiefs, especially if Pacheco takes a little time to ramp up, I actually do like the Bills' chances this year if they keep going like this. And you know what? I think, it's fine if the Bills get a Super Bowl right before we begin our second dynasty with Drake May, I'll allow it, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it to them. It's fun. I chanted with the Bills. I faked it. But, yeah. No, I support them.
All right. Well, once again, Jordan, thank you for that lovely interview. Josh, excellent field reporter work.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that, we'll go into our power rankings. We're not going to go as deep into the power rankings this week because we've decided that, well, it's kind of bullshit at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
the league is just all over the place.
we just have no fucking clue. So we're going to go with a tier list.
Yeah, tier list.
Just tiering them out. Make it a little easier. And
All right.
I think let's start top down this time because I think it's going to be fairly straightforward.
I agree. I mean, like you said, pretty straightforward. Let's start it off. Basement Gremlins, A tier. 3-0, highest scoring team in the league. What more is there to say about this? Josh, how do you feel right now? I mean, with such an absolute powerhouse of a team so far in the season.
I mean, I feel great. Tyreek Hill is on my bench right now, and I'm still putting up points. I want Ayuk to come through a little bit more. I think he's facing a little bit of the same issue CD is facing with held out, didn't go to training camp, taking a little while to ramp up. But, in the meantime, Devontae Smith might be injured, but I have the guys to fill in. Rashee Rice is going off. Nico Collins is looking really good. And the running backs are really carrying their weight with, Jonathan Brooks on the way. But, yeah, I feel good. But I will say that I am getting more and more worried of, my fellow A tier that I just talked with tonight of SCLSU Mud Dogs. Jaden Daniels is scary because those 40 points he puts up tonight, that's like what you drafted him. That's the ceiling you hoped he reached. And he's getting there in week 3 against Bengals who, aren't the worst. They're not like a terrible, terrible defense. So, I see good things coming from him, especially if that Terry McLaurin stack actually turns into a stack. I can see it turn into something pretty. But that's the end of our A tier. That brings us into B tier.
All right, so kicking off in our B tier, we got a team that I feel like we've been a little bit hard on in the past, but is on a hot streak right now. I think they're about to become 2-1, and that is going to be our Charmin Ultra Softies, putting up over 160 points this week. And this is a week Anthony Richardson really didn't do much, but getting 43 points out of Juwan Jennings. Juwan
Jennings.
Juwan Jennings also got 40-something points out of Josh Allen. Really good week for this team. Yeah, and not only that, Justin Fields on the bench, so a lot of trade value on that bench, especially as quarterbacks start to kind of drop off. A lot of quarterbacks underperforming at this point in the season, and Justin Fields, if he holds on to that starting job, might not be the best quarterback, but a lot of fantasy value. So this team's got some fire to play with right now.
Absolutely. And you've got Deebo Samuel out right now, but on the bench, Jake Ferguson coming back. Like, he's got Hunter Henry in right now. Jake Ferguson is going to be better than Hunter Henry most weeks. But there's uphill to go. Smith and Jigba is going to be better in the future. Maybe Kyron's not putting up 33 yards, but it comes down to the same thing we've been saying in the past. Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson are your stars, and you need someone to perform this week. Juwan Jennings performed, and that just shows a good manager. You got Juwan Jennings, you played him, and sometimes you have to bet on the coaching,
Yeah.
So there you go. You get your due. You're in the B tier, and joining you in the B tier is almost the exact reverse of a team that is just good despite the best efforts of a manager that hasn't even started a quarterback in his Superflex. Now, that being said, I faced him this week. It's the Notorious Scoundrels, and if he had started Baker Mayfield, he actually would have scored less. So maybe he's Rain Manning. Who knows? But we've talked about it before. His team is good. It has the Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield stack, which didn't go quite as off this week, but it has that, and it has other things going for it. And it keeps him just scratching on this surface with Lamar Jackson, Jamar Gibbs. Even Tony Pollard is going to be coming back more. But this week, they didn't quite deliver enough to, beat me. But he's still sticking around in that B tier. But Victor, set your fucking lineup. I'll be texting you on your own at this point. And that's the end of our B tier.
Yeah.
Unless you have something to say.
Nah. Kick it off with the C tier. This team, maybe 2 hours ago, we thought you might end up in B tier if you had gotten the win this week, but you're still not quite there. And overall, I'm happy we put you in C tier. And that is going to be Big Steve, Big Steve's Big Ballers. Here's the deal. You're looking a lot better than the first couple weeks of the season. You're scoring a lot of points. However, there's still some concerning things about this roster here for sure. Josh Jacobs really didn't score that well this week. Ramondre Stevenson actually basically scored nothing this week. And I'm not going to lie, I think Ramondre Stevenson's first 2 games of the season were a little bit of a fluke. I think this is going to be more consistent with how he scores for the rest of the year. Not only that,
agree.
Zach Charbonnet going to lose his starting job at some point. Cole Kmet probably just had his only 20-point game of the season. David
Sure, that is
Montgomery's
the number. That is the number 2 tight end on the season. All right, so I'm sure he'll hold on to that for the whole season, probably.
Possibly, but yeah.
Sarcasm,
and then
but-
the same things we've been saying. This bench is just a little bit too shallow for my liking, so I definitely have some concerns about this team. But you've risen up quite a lot from the start of the season, and we got you in that C tier right now.
Yeah, and you got Deshaun Watson. That's kind of cringe. So
Yeah, dude. Just get
I mean,
rid of
that's-
Deshaun
that's-
Watson.
yeah,
What are you doing?
that's not cool, dude. All right, you knew what you were doing, but that's what's landing you into this tier, along with the likes of Granny's Gold Galleon, who is sitting here after getting a win over She Loved My McConkey. And again, the rookies seem to be paying off. Xavier Worthy had his big game, hasn't had a great game. But what I'm really looking at here is George Kittle was out this week. And he still played him. So you kind of have to question the manager here. Like I said, the coaches matter. And where we have the Charmin Ultra Softies higher, Gabe, set your fucking lineup. Now, maybe Gabe thought George Kittle would play, and maybe he would have hoped to use the auto sub feature, which is where I want to take a quick pause to bring up something that I mentioned in the chat where apparently auto sub was not turned on. I thought it was. I messed up as a commissioner there, and so I would like to issue my public statement, my public apology, which is oopsie, fuck you, sorry.
Yeah, you
That
shouldn't
is all.
need an auto sub feature. Auto sub feature is dumb.
It was voted on by the league, and thus I am in the wrong,
Stupid.
and that is why I gave you that sincere apology. So, moving on. Gabe, set your lineup. But the rookies are doing well. Roma Dunze might actually do something this year. Probably not. Moving on. We have our next tier, the D tier.
All right, I'll kick us off in the D tier. There's a team that got their first win of the season this week, rose up from the ashes, and that is going to be the Aaron Rodgers Hate Club. This was a close game. You were dangerously close to going 0-3, but massive performances from Brock Purdy, Dallas Go. How did we decide last week it was pronounced? Goddard?
Goddard. No, wait, it's definitely Godare.
I say
I say
Goddard.
Goddard. You say Goddard, and we agreed that the fancier sounding one is probably right.
But I also thought okay, you know what? Whatever it is, Dallas. My man Dallas over here. Got a big
Yeah.
performance. Khalil Shakir popped off this week for the first week, too, which was, definitely a good sign. Still, the bench, Deontay Johnson, getting a little bit more fantasy relevant. But besides that, you really don't got anything until Joe Mixon comes back. Joe Mixon being down there, come back for Austin Eckler, who is also out now. So tough
Yeah, I
spot
got
for
the
this team to
concussion.
be in, but you scored almost 160 points with all of that, regardless. So
Yeah.
you're in the D tier, probably where you
Yeah.
belong. You're not the worst team in the league, but you're not doing great.
Not doing too awesome, but you did beat our other D tier team, who, I mean, maybe belongs there just because he does have the alliteration of D in his name, the Drunken Dragons, aka T Main. Sitting here now going 1-2, kind of a mighty have fallen, probably the second largest fall of the season so far, as CJ Stroud has not been keeping up with quite what we expected. I think Stephon Diggs, I think I would be happy with the production he's put up. Same with Amari Cooper, at least this week. Kincaid's coming back a little bit, but it's just been general inconsistency with the quarterbacks, especially CJ Stroud and Justin Herbert have just not been awesome.
Yeah, Justin Herbert
And
has massively underperformed. He hasn't had more than 17 points in a game so far.
yeah, and AJ Brown being out is just, the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
And Isaiah Pacheco. Let's not forget about that one.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Just injuries came through and decided to really take you down there. But
Yeah,
no,
we're not feeling super hot this week. Started 1-0, was feeling really good, and obviously now slid down to 1-2, hanging out at the bottom of the league. I'm also in the bottom of the league in the points for category. So it's a longer season,
no,
but it's if there was a time to rally, the time is definitely now.
no. Hey, it's all about making it to the playoffs, and then it's one game at a time. Just got to get there.
Yeah.
But that brings us to our last tier. You can probably figure it out. If you
Yeah.
haven't won a game, you're gonna be at the bottom. And both of these teams are teams that each of us liked. I really liked Bongside Kicks to start. Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
Mike Evans, Brock Bowers, J.K. Dobbins, Derek Carr, all people that were putting up such good points. But and he finally started Derek Carr, and Caleb Williams goes off on the bench. So yeah, it's just been a rough time. He's got Waddle, who's got the injured quarterback. He's got you know, Jerry Judy, who has Deshaun Watson, who's dumb and stupid and sucks. Like,
Yeah, I think this team came back down to earth a little bit this week, specifically in regards to players like Rashad White, Jerry Judy, Brock Bowers, J.K. Dobbins, Brian Thomas. All those guys have been off to just such hot starts. And that's not to say that some of those guys won't continue. Like, I'm still very big on Dobbins and Thomas, but they're going to have weeks like this. These aren't your
yeah,
top, these aren't A-list players. These are B-list guys. He's got a lot of
yeah,
them. And as far as the bench that we're looking at here, Jalen Waddle, I mean, I love Jalen Waddle, but second wide receiver, and until they figure out what's going on in that quarterback room, if Tua's coming back, he's gonna struggle to put up points. The rest of this bench isn't super great either. So yeah, bongside kicks. I'm sorry, but you're struggling right now.
no. And finally, in that last spot in F tier, which is, the same tier as Bongside, not the last in the league, but I'm actually going to group this in with my following segment, which is the down bad manager of the week, because that is She Love My McConkey to me, which has been eased a little bit because we have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase that finally got it going. Jamar Chase, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight, looking really good out there. But DK Metcalf also looking good. But this team is injured. Like, this team is broken. We have Kenneth Walker and Keenan Allen on this team on the bench. And they're on the bench because the IR is full. Like,
Yeah,
Like,
that's okay. That says something right there.
it says a lot. And this is a team we really did believe in, but now they're playing Cam Akers in their flex.
I was just about to say it says a lot when Cam Akers is your flex and P Ryan is your RB2.
It's really rough. We're looking at DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, and Samaje Perine on
And
a
not to
starting lineup.
mention, how about the fact that Travis Kelsey has just. I mean, we're 3 games into the year now, and
Yeah.
this man has not eclipsed like 6 points.
Yeah. I mean, he was the bed shitter guy last week. And
He honestly could have been it this week again. I mean,
he could
she
have.
loves my McConkey was in a close game. If Kelsey had had a bigger game, I mean, he could have flipped that.
He honestly could have. And the thing is that it wasn't a close game until the Bengals decided to, score 60 points collectively. So he wasn't really considered. But if Kelsey decided to come in for a third one there, that would have meant that McConkey would have one every week because the first 2 weeks were the Bengals followed by Kelsey.
Yeah,
That is, McConkey is the most down bad manager thus far, and there is not really a contest. The fact that he is 0-3 is real rough and a testament to how much fantasy football is so fun.
fantasy football's a great time.
Such a fun time. So terrible. But moving on from our tier list and our down bad manager of the week, we have our upsets. I was wrong. But I
Oh
won, so
no.
that's cool. So that's nice, but it does put me behind. I did in fact beat the Notorious Scoundrels, but Tyler managed to hit on his, I believe it was Granny's.
Granny's Gold Galleon.
Again, the down bad player of manager of the week, helping Tyler out there. But on to this week's. I'm actually rooting for Tyler next week. Tyler will be facing the uh
It's Big Steve's.
yeah.
Big Steve's.
Sorry.
Big ballers.
I read it wrong. I read our tier list wrong, and for a second I saw you above him in our tier list, but you're not. But I believe that you will be beating Big Steve's Big Ballers next week. Primarily, I'm looking at your matchups. Stroud is against the Jaguars. Josh Allen just went off against them. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. But I like that. Aaron Jones against the Packers. The Packers have been a very forcing the run offense. They've had a good pass defense. The run has been better on them. CeeDee Lamb facing the Giants. Giants defense just hasn't been good overall. I think that he's going to make a comeback. Singletary against Cowboys. Cowboys defense, as we all know, absolute dog water. Really, what are you doing? Give up, go to bed. And Amari Cooper against Vegas, a similar thing. Andy Dalton tore it up. Maybe Deshaun Watson can half tear it up against them. Pickens against the Colts. It's just a lot of matchups that I really think that they can be taken advantage of by these teams. On the flip side, the Ballers have Jacobs facing Minnesota, which is a great defense. Stevenson facing the Niners. He's going to die. Harrison against Washington. He's probably going to go off. But aside from that, we also have Jaden Reed against the Vikings. Seahawks defense has been good against the run. I like your matchups.
Yeah. Well, I would certainly like to get a win this week. Maybe get right the ship a little bit. So I appreciate you for riding with us on this rocky road.
Of course.
All right, so for my upset of the week, if you can even really call it that, I'm picking the winner of the 0-3 showdown coming up this week because week 4 we have a matchup of our two 0-3 teams. We got McConkey and Bongside. Currently, as of right now, Bongside is projected to lose in a very narrow game, but I'm calling the opposite. I think that this McConkey team is just rattled with injuries right now. They got some big performances from a lot of their players this week, but if you don't get another, 35-point game from Joe Burrow and another 30-point game from Jamar Chase, that score is going to look a hell of a lot different. It's just hard to ride with any team that's got Samaje Perine in the RB2 spot, to be honest with you. So for that reason alone, I'm taking the bong side kicks.
Samaje's, not even the best one on the Chiefs. I like Carson Steele. He had 70 yards rushing. Just saying.
What a great story. You've seen everything about his little pet alligator, right?
His alligator? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's great. I love that guy. I'm not saying he's like a great running back, but he's a fun one.
I agree with that statement.
So we'll see. Please. Honestly, once again, I'm just going to say the same thing. Comment. I do want more ideas on what we should do at the end of the year. I think an end of the year punishment is best for these.
I agree.
Or end of contest. So we'll be keeping score. Please give us more ideas. That's not what you should do in the comments if you've already given an idea. Instead, in the comments, tell us what you would name a pet alligator if you had one. Personally, off the top of my head, I'm not thinking about it. It's cliche, but Chompy feels like it would be fun.
And Julius.
I like Julius. I would, because my mascot from college was Gompy, the goat.
Gompy.
So I just make him Chompy, but spell it like Gompy. So it would be CHOMPEI instead.
Chompy.
Chompy.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's what I would name it. And he would be loved. And that's what matters. But let us know what you would name your alligator.
Yeah.
Oh. And with that, into the most useful segment of Tyler's Gambling Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another segment of Tyler's Degenerate Gambling Corner, where I help you win and lose money. Now, if you rode with my picks from last week, you're feeling great about that Packers pick. You weren't even sweating that one. They smoked the Titans in that. In hindsight, it really makes you wonder why the Packers were even underdogs in that game to begin with. Vice versa, if you rode with my Browns and Colts pick, you are not feeling so hot. The Colts, which seemed like the risky leg in that parlay, that's the one that hit. But the Browns, you heard Josh's stat earlier, the Browns really shit the bed this week against the Giants. And, if you watch that game, Andy, shout out Andy, trailed me on this bet, and we were texting back and forth during the fourth quarter. It's like they didn't even want to win. They had the opportunity for a game-winning drive 3 different times. Deshaun Watson needs to get out of this league ASAP. I'm sick of seeing this man on the football field. But fuck the Browns. But overall, not horrible, Not horrible. But we're coming back to you with some picks from this week. It's a little bit lame this week, Josh. I'm not going to lie. Looking over the lines, there's not a lot I like right now. As I've mentioned before, they don't release player props until closer to the Sunday games. So the only ones I can look at are for Thursday. So we don't have any parlays in that sense, but keep an eye on the YouTube community. Maybe we'll make a post later in the week. But there are 2 things I have on my radar that I'm looking at right now. The first is a Thursday night game, and that is this week's bed shitter of the week, CeeDee Lamb, to get his act together. He is plus 100 to score a TD. CeeDee for the TD, plus 100. I feel pretty good about this. I feel like the Cowboys are going to have a get-right game here. I feel like they're going to try to work the ball to CeeDee a lot more because of how much he was left out of the offense last week. I don't know. Josh, any thoughts on that pick?
You know what? I like the pick. Who are they facing again? They're facing... Yeah, who are they facing?
I don't know.
Who are the Cowboys facing?
Thursday Night Football? Is it Packers? No.
No,
maybe.
It's not the Packers.
It's the Giants.
They're facing the Giants. Right,
That's
yeah,
it is.
the
It's
Giants.
the Giants.
I'm a fan
Come
of
on.
that. I think he definitely can get in there and score a touchdown. Yeah, there's not much more to say there. whenever you're choosing a touchdown, you're going with a risk. They're one of the least predictable
Obviously.
things. But again, we have the highest paid wide receiver and the highest paid quarterback. You gotta assume.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're really
Yeah.
looking at here. I mean, very rarely are you gonna see CD have, even if it's just plus 100. The fact that he has a positive line at all is insane. I'm pretty sure for the first 2 weeks he was probably around one minus 125 both games. So I would take the increase in odds this week. And there is one other game that's on my radar right now, and this is really, really more about betting against teams, as Andy pointed out to me, as opposed to betting for a team. And that's, I'm taking the Rams on the road to beat Chicago. I have never seen this quarterback. Caleb Williams just looks like a mess right now. The Bears' defense doesn't look that great either. The Rams are plus 124 at Chicago right now. Rams are coming off of a great win. They got some momentum on their side. Sean McVay is a great coach. You can never go wrong betting on great coaching. And overall, they're finding ways to score, even with the injuries to their team so far. Kyron Williams coming up big. So Rams plus 124 on the road. Josh, you
Wow.
trailing that?
I think I actually am trailing that one because I mean if you're gonna beat the Niners, and I watched that game with a Niners fan. That was a rough one to witness with him. But it just showed you that uh without all those good players you have to funnel to, a good coach just feels more free to do whatever they want. It's that simple, honestly. Because I mean, at this point, we've seen so many Malik Willis out here winning games. Coaches are able to work with whatever they have at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do like the pick. There is a pick that I am interested in, and that is the Panthers facing the Bengals this upcoming week, which that is a plus 184 for Andy Dalton to have a revenge game against the Bengals after the Bengals just lost to the Commanders and the Panthers just beat the Raiders, who beat the Ravens.
Who's the home team in that game?
I believe it's the Panthers.
What's the spread?
The spread is 4.5 points.
Ugh. I don't know. I mean, all right, I'll say this. I definitely wouldn't take the spread on that. If you're going to bet on it, go big or go home. Just take the money line.
Oh, I'm going.
Um,
I like money line.
yeah, I mean, that's not a bad pick. Definitely a risk. Definitely a risky pick. You're going to be sweating that one out, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
going to
mean,
put that one in, but I'll be rooting for you.
well, with that suggestion, I'll give a little reminder to my betting story, which is I've so far lost. At one point yesterday, I was down $99.67 on in the first 3 weeks. I've lost a lot of money very quickly. I'm shit at betting, but I've decided to start betting smart, and that's why I'm introducing a little side bet going on here. And that is, I was down to 33 cents yesterday. Currently, in the last night's game and tonight's games, I have turned that 33 cents into $1.20. How
Trending in
high
the
do
right
you,
direction.
Tyler? How high do you think I can get that $1.20 by the end of the season?
It won't ever see $10.
I bet you $10 that I can get my $1.20 to $10.
Deal.
We have a side bet. Comment down below if you believe in me.
Current
And I
line
will be
is
updating you every week at where I'm at.
current line is Tyler to win minus 125.
Damn.
All right. That concludes my segment of Degenerate Gambling Corner. Place your bets and watch football.
Excellent. Oh, and yeah, listen to Tyler and not me. I had $25 on the Packers after listening to Tyler and then took that off. And that's where my last, and then I bet that on other things, and that's where my last $25 went. So, I
Should've
could be up a
listened to
lot.
me.
I could be up some money, and instead I'm very not.
I will say,
But
if you've followed my picks so far, you would be positive on the season.
good to know. Good to know. But with that, that does it for us in this episode of the Hail Mary Happy Hour. Congratulations to those teams that won this week. Congrats to the SCLSU Mud Dogs for pulling it out in the last quarter. And as always, set your fucking lineups.